Sir, as you can read it in any manner.
You are rendering the entire observation.
That is not a manner that is referring to human beings. Human beings. So, for example, criteria for sports persons is different from criteria for persons with disabilities. So, if you want to get horizontal reservations under either, you can be a scheduled caste woman who's a sports person and is disabled, and you have to deal with 4 sets of criteria. And there is nothing in interlocking reservation that says you cannot have multiple eligibility. So
what Justice Jeevan Reddy said, interlocking
reservations. So what I'm saying, sir, is that we read these as we ensure that there is no overlap. Now we can attribute, sir, rationality in saying that backward classes and weaker sections are very closely interrelated. They're two sides of the same coin. Therefore, all the more reason to ensure that the eligibility criteria are distinct and with intelligible differential. So here, for example, no need to put this criteria on what your stigma is or your social status is. You can just concentrate on the deprivation. This MPI, so the multidimensional poverty index criteria. You can do that, and here. Sorry, sir, sir, forgive me, sir. The last point I want to say, sir, is that, yes, this may mean that the political intention of providing a separate compartment for a particular group may not be achieved, but that is not the concern, sir, of a court. And, that will never be the concern of a court. First, this will not be the first time that a political intent has been frustrated by what Justice K.K. Matthew, I forget the judgment, beautifully once called the need for all constitutional provisions to be in fraternity with each other. So when this, whatever the political intent may have been, once 16.6 and 15.6 enters the house of the Constitution, it acquires all the characteristics of all its friends in the Constitution, sir. 21, 19, 14, 16. They're all one big friendly family, sir. And they have to live in harmony together. And so this interpretation, where we say that other than means that the criteria shall be distinct, eligibility criteria shall be distinct to avoid an overlap, will allow you, sir, to keep this going without running into the letting reservation, run loose, disconnecting reservation from backwardness or poverty, and without
that process. They are disrupting the harmony. This entire process, yes, you in the alternative suggested way forward. It's required to be maybe is taken up only when if we come to a conclusion that these amendments, 103rd Amendment, whatever is provided is not otherwise living in harmony with the other provisions of equality wherever they are. If they are otherwise, they could exist in harmony, they could exist.
Of course. But it all depends on what interpretation we give it, sir. These are not provisions which are neutral. So as I said, there are 2 interpretations you can give it. One interpretation will allow them to live in harmony, sir. But another interpretation will not. There's no doubt about it, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
With my lord permission, I am seeking only 30 seconds. I will point out only 2 things, my lord, 30 seconds, not more than 30.
Your data.
Yes, my lord.
We have seen that data.
Yes, my lord. I want to point out on 2 things, my lord. I want to point out on data. In Jammu Kashmir, 34% OBC people and 2% reservation in Jammu Kashmir on the OBC category. And that matter pending before the alternate bench in item 105, my lord. And state of Madhya Pradesh, SC, ST, OBC people are 89%, and OBC people, admittedly,
52% population in OBC category, and reservation only 14%. And my lord, the ratio is a very important one. I want to read only one paragraph. My lord, this define the
get into that issue, that whether the ratio-wise or proportionate representation.
Yes.
What are you hinting at, sir?
So, my lord, these people are not adequately represented in the government sector in anywhere, my lord. That's the reason we want to point out.
According to you, supposing, for instance, in a given state, scheduled tribes are more than what is the percentage of reservation meant for them. This is what you are hinting?
My lord, I want to point out this, my lord. In 52% population in Madhya Pradesh, only 13% people are working in the government and PSU, my lord. So this is the actual situation in the ground level, and they are in 20% reservation given. And
What we are focusing on, and again you would request, sir, how this particular way of looking at the thing would help us in arriving at a conclusion whether this amendment will disturb the basic structure or it disturb the basic features or not. Individual cases or individual layout or spread of the persons or the percentage of persons getting into employment, not getting into employment, maybe because of variety of factors, sir.
yes, I want to just point out, reservation is the tool to give an adequate representation all corner of the society.
And what you are now trying to say is that there is inadequate representation for certain sections of the society.
Yes.
Understood. But that is not something that we are called upon to decide. We are called upon to decide completely different dimension of the problem. But we can't by our decision make some kind of, adequate representation for those who are inadequately represented. What we are called upon to decide is what is the information, what is the content, whether it violates basic structure or not. Correct? Your data is not going to help us in that direction.
Only one thing, my lord. If this amendment is upheld, then again, my lord, we are excluded in this amendment. OBC SC is not included. So we are excluded in 10% reservation.
Have argued well.
I'm sorry.
So please rest.
I want to just point out, we are already placed the data, my lord, so kindly.
That's all right, sir. You have told us at least 4 times.
I'm sorry, my lord.
We have understood.
I'll take 20 seconds, Lordship, just to apprise that the criteria of 8 lakh limit is pending before court number 2. So if in case Lordship is going to upheld or whichever way, it should not be decided on the 8 lakh limit.
Okay.
Yeah, file the IA, that is no reason.
In this matter, your lordship made a beginning with advance written submission.
Mr. Sharan, we
Timeline.
want your again assistance on the point, because by the time we have come to the close of this particular matter, we started with say 1 unit, today we are 20 units, correct? We want you to again put that in concise form. If you and Mr. Kanu Agarwal, if you can, actually we can bank on your services, please do that in next 3 or 4 days time.
Because we'll do it in the next 3-4 days. Just one suggestion I had, from the experience we have gained here. Because your lordships may consider advanced timelines and advanced written submission as a part of practice directions for constitution bench matters generally. Because the bar is also learning. Because in this matter you are learning.
No, it should be not just constitution bench matters, every 3-judge bench matters.
Because the beginning can be made because we are also learning, because your lordships, so despite the advanced, we were still submitting.
Your Lordships, the notes that learned AG and SG has will submit, your Lordships will give us till Friday to put it to the.
What? We
The
can
notes,
gather.
your Lordships, because now there's a flood of material which is coming.
Okay, very well.
By Friday, we'll submit our notes.
What next?
Now,
So
please,
already
no more.
submitted your notes.
No more.
Because your Lordships, there's a new. flood
That's
of
all right, that's
information
all
which
right,
has
but
come.
it's okay. You are appearing for certain interveners now. To what extent do we keep on
No, your
entertaining?
Lordships, the learned AG and learned SG also.
Maybe so.
Yes, your Lordship. So we'll submit it by Friday as well.
Please don't do that. Please don't do that.
Lordships,
See,
because.
we don't want to be confronted with new points.
There
Let's be
won't
very
be
clear. So
points.
we are sealing everything now, except where it specifically permitted.
It's only
That's
for,
all. No,
yes,
I don't-
it's only for Lordship's assistance if Lordship wants it in
please
a
let it be
proper
so.
fashion.
That's unfair because you come up
We
with
have
some
given you
points,
sufficient
rebuttals, and
time
you
to
will-
make your
There's no
own.
new, I'm just submitting, there'll be no new information. We are going to just
But
put
then
it in a
if it
manner.
is not in you, please leave it to us. We will
Very well,
take care.
as your Lordship desires.
Grateful.
Thank you. We'll come back in 5 minutes, sir.
Right, ma'am.